I hope so, because we are now live. Wave your hands about. Yay!
Hey! Morning,
Good morning,
Bertie.
Debbie.
Hi.
Hello, and hello, everybody watching and listening now, because the Funsize Live is officially a podcast.
Woohoo!
Officially on. So all the old ones are being uploaded as we speak.
Yeah, so you can go running with us in your ears and all sorts of exciting things.
That's right. The possibilities are endless. You can have us everywhere now. You can watch us, listen to us. Maybe we'll produce a range of merch soon. Who knows?
Like
drinking from us. We could have our own fun-size coffee cups.
Baseball caps.
all the merch will be coming out. Watch this space.
I would like a baseball cap. But apart from baseball caps and merchandise, what are we talking about this morning, Bertie?
Well, today, Debbie, we're talking about, drum roll, reducing overwhelm.
Reducing overwhelm.
That's it.
Yeah.
Common thing, right? Everyone's overwhelmed. Everyone's stressed. Don't know what to do. So in our 10-minute brief chat today, we're going to help people. We're going to save lives this morning, Debbie. That's what we're going to do.
I think we need to, because I think overwhelm is rife. I think burnout has been recognized by the World Health Organization as a medical thing. It's officially recognized. So that kind of burnout and overwhelm is massive. And I think also if you run a business, that can be super hard, can't it, to kind of manage that overwhelm, that burnout, and not get to that state where you're just unable to do anything. And that's kind of the final straw, isn't it? I have got no more capacity to do stuff. And so we're going to share some of our tips of how we stop getting to that end point where you're like, I can just lie in a darkened room crying.
Yes, we are. So what do you have a tip you want to lead with this morning, Dudar?
Well, I think we talk about it a lot. But for me, one of the things for reducing overwhelm is knowing where you're going.
Yeah.
Because one of the main things is that you can end up saying yes to lots of things that maybe aren't getting you where you're going because you don't want to let go of opportunities when they arise. But if you've got a really clear focus on when you want to take your business, then you've got a really good barometer to say, no, not now. That's not going to get me where I want to go. And so I think that's the main thing, is having that focus, because otherwise, and I know I've done it, you're like, oh, but this is an opportunity. And what if I say no and I let go of it? And you can end up just piling more things on your plate. And then you're like, do I need to be doing this? So I think having that focus is a key thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think once you've got that focus, I mean, it's easy sometimes to have that focus, and then you can still be piling lots of things onto that plate. And I think a lot of the time we set expectations that are too high, especially in short periods of time. Yeah. So when I speak to people and you look at the amount of stuff that they expect to get achieved in a single day, it's never going to get done. So already the expectation is too high, and you've set you've got too many things on your list. You're never going to tick those off. So I think a lot of the time it's a combination of expectations and planning, or lack of planning and not planning effectively. Because when you look at those things that you're trying to do in a single day, for example, if you were to actually take some time and plan those over the course of a week, it's much more achievable. And when I speak to people that are overwhelmed, it's almost it's the same. So have you ever booked a holiday and you're like, shit, I need to lose a stone by the weekend? Have you ever had that experience? Well,
no, never, Bertie. I'm sorry. I'm just naturally a stick.
Naturally stick thing all year round. Well, Debbie, you're one of the lucky ones, because there's a lot of people like me that have this shit, I need to lose this weight quickly. And you can do the crash dieting thing, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work in the long term, and you never actually get there. So it's when you talk about routine and process, a calorie deficit and regular exercise is a much better way of keeping in shape over time. Sure. Rather than not doing those things. And it's the same for business. If you're putting the right processes in and actually managing and planning effectively, then the overwhelm will reduce, because your expectations are lower. And actually, it's high expectations that generally lead to disappointment. So there is no quick fix, unfortunately, apart from just telling yourself, do you know what? Fuck it, I'm not going to get this done in a day. Why am I worried about it? Why am I worried about it? Like, it's unachievable. So don't stress out about things that aren't going to be that are actually unachievable, because what's the point, right?
Yeah, and I think like you've kind of alluded to, that if you've put too many things on your to-do list, you can end up berating yourself at the end of the day for not doing them. Instead of looking at all the things you have achieved, you're just focusing on the things you haven't achieved. So I like a ta-da list. Like, look at all the things I've done. Like, ta-da, I've done all these things, rather than a list of all the things you haven't done, and actually reframing your focus onto the things that you have achieved, the movement you've made, the difference that you've made in your business, or the transformation, or whatever that looks like. Because I think our natural response is to focus on the negatives and kind of go, why haven't I done this? Why haven't I done that? And I think if you spend a bit of time, maybe at the end of the day or the week, writing down, what have I done? What have I achieved? That kind of takes that overwhelm out, because it feels like you're making progress.
It does.
And I feel sometimes when we've got overwhelm, it's because we don't feel that we're making any progress.
Yeah.
So that helps as well. I think that's another tip. But also it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
And even if you've committed to something and you've overcommitted, which happens a lot, to just go, actually, I'm not going to get this done by that time frame. Is it all right if it's there next week? And generally people are like, yeah, sure. And I think we think that everybody's like biting at the bit to get the thing done that we said that we're going to do. And everybody's like, no, you're human. That's fine. Thank you for letting me know. I think as long as you keep that communication channel open, that's great. It's when you don't do something, you don't let somebody know that you're not going to do it, that they get peed off.
Exactly.
Actually, just saying, I've got too much on this week, I'm moving it to next week. Is that okay? That's really good. And it's okay to say no, or not now, or later, or I'm going to put that back. And I think back to that thing of focus, that enables you to go, well, this is a maybe. Like, if I've got extra time to do this, it's a maybe, and I'm going to fit it in. I've got this book, How to Communicate Effectively with Anyone Anywhere, that was sent to me lovingly by this guy in New York who was like, please write a review for my book months ago. And every so often he writes me this really lovely email. Are you going to write a review for the book that I sent you for free? And I'm like, yeah. It's just not my priority. It's not going to make my business grow. It's a nice thing. The book's great. I did enjoy it. It helped me do a piece of work, actually. It was kind of turned up at just the right time. But I just keep putting him off. Because that's okay, because it's not the thing that's going to get my business where I want to go. And so I'm just looking for a gap of when I'm like, I've got a bit of an empty afternoon, I'm going to write that review. And that's okay. We all need to manage our own time and work out what are the it has to be done. Otherwise the ship's going to sink stuff. The rest of it can wait. It's really okay.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to be, the busiest person. You don't have to wear this busyness badge of honor. Like, that's being busy doesn't necessarily mean being successful.
Or being productive.
Exactly. And prioritizing your own work, really questioning yourself, like, does it make the boat go faster? Which we spoke about in previous Funsize, which you can catch up on the podcast somewhere. Like, I used to remember a guy, lovely guy that I used to work with. And like, he was great, because whenever I needed something doing, he would drop instantly what he needed doing and help me. But then I noticed that he was the person that was in the office the latest all the time, and he was coming in the earliest, and he was the one that was always busy. He never complained about it, but he was prioritizing other people's work over his own. So when you actually delve into that and then you speak to him, it's like, it wasn't just me that was doing that. That's just how he was with everybody. Yeah. So it's, if you feel that you're doing that and you feel that that's not that's not working for you, then you need to change. Something has to change. So I think it's a combination of mindset as well. You really have to have the mindset of it's not the world isn't going to collapse if I don't respond to this email, or write this review for somebody. What we've got here. Oh, Steve Whittle's commenting. Let's put this on, because you're going to have to read that word, because I can't read it.
Presenteeism is not necessarily productivity. So that's being there, sitting at your desk, being present doesn't necessarily mean you're productive. And I think I've mentioned this a few times. Like, in the UK, we work some of the longest hours and we have some of the lowest productivity rates. So 100% Steve Whittle. I find that actually, if I shorten my days and I plan in a swim or something either side, I get as much done in that shorter amount of time. And then I've got some time for exercising or relaxing or all of that stuff. So Steve's also said, I agree, I say no a lot. And I think people struggle to say no. And maybe that guy in the office, he maybe is linking saying yes to his likability.
Yeah.
You know, and we do want to be liked, and we do want to be part of a community, and we do want people to accept us. But that can sometimes go against us if we keep saying yes and we're not prioritizing our own stuff. So I think if you're listening and you're one of those people that says yes to everything and drops everything you're doing to service somebody else, just ask yourself, if I said, oh, I can help you, but that will be tomorrow or next week, that's not going to make somebody dislike you in the grand scheme of things.
No, no, it isn't.
It just isn't, is it? And I think I worked with a client the other day, and she said people will turn up at her door and just drop. She does sewing. She said people will just turn up my door and go, can you just fix this top or make these curtains? And she just says yes every time, no matter how much workload she's got. And she also says, I have it done for you by tomorrow, where there's no need for her to do that. And so just building in a little bit of, actually, let me just look at my diary and see when I could fit that in, or not now, but next week, or just giving yourself a moment to pause. If yes is the first thing that comes out of your mouth, just practice pausing and engaging. Is it okay? Do I have the time? And then just saying maybe next week, or it's not the right time for me, or I'd love to do that, but not now. There's still not, it's not necessarily no, it's still keeping that communication open. And I think it's really dangerous if you just say yes to everything. And I've definitely been that person, you know, for sure.
Yes, yeah, I think we all have, and I think it's very important to recognize that, because once you start recognizing the problem, doesn't instantly solve it, but it does then mean that you can start to work on it. And I think you raised a really good point as well when you were saying about people generally will like if you say no to someone, they're not going to stop liking you over that. No. But if they do, but if they do, then they are definitely the wrong people to be in your circle anyway. You know, they are not the types of people. So, you know, it's a good saying no to somebody and actually setting, you know, respecting your own boundaries. If someone disrespects you over that, then that's an entirely different story, and that's something to question. That doesn't mean that you personally have done something wrong. Then there's something wrong in general with that relationship, you know, which is an entirely different kettle of fish.
Yeah, and this thing about saying no or not now and reducing overwhelm, you could bring that into your emails. Like I know people that will reply as soon as an email arrives. So literally they'll be on a task, like heads down and getting into the task in the flow. An email pops up, they pull themselves out of that task and feel like they have to respond instantly. Then they go back to that task, and it takes a while, doesn't it, to get back into the thing? And then that's meaning that your day is getting further and further. You don't have to reply to email straight away. You don't have to answer the phone call. You don't have to come up with a response straight away. You know, you could say my email time is 4 till 5 p.m. Yeah. And I answer all my emails in that time, and the rest of the time it's off. Exactly. And I'm focused at the task in hand.
Yeah, I check the emails morning and night, and throughout the day, that's it. Email box is closed. Like it is, if someone's emailing me, it's not urgent. It's not, you didn't have to disrupt the other things. Steve's raised another good point here. Thanks for commenting, Steve. So yeah, the tasks often take as long as the time you assign them. Parkinson's law, I believe that's known as. And I found this. If I say like a weekend, I'm just going to work for an hour, the amount of stuff that I will get done in that hour is sometimes the same that I would do in an entire day. So I know I've got an hour. I know that at 10 o'clock I'm leaving. You just blast through stuff. Yeah. So setting that. So if you tell yourself it's going to take you 2 years to write a book, it will take you 2 years. If you give yourself a week, you will get it done in a week. If your publisher is waiting for you or whatever the scenario is, you can do it. So yeah, this is Parkinson's law. It's a really interesting fact, and I found it since doing my daily emails. I used to sit down in the morning like, what am I going to write about? And it could take me all day sometimes. Whereas last night it was 2 to 7, had a networking meeting at 7. It was like, shit, need to send something, blah 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 blah, done. So there is, there's a lot to be said around this as well. Oh, we have one more comment. Let's throw this up on the screen. I haven't read it yet. Hopefully it's nothing.
So Catherine says, I read somewhere that when you allow yourself to be interrupted on a task, it takes on average 25 minutes to get back to what you were doing. that only needs to happen 3 to 4 times a day, and we run the risk of not finishing anything. Yeah, exactly. This goes back to like multitasking. There's no such thing as multitasking. Stay in that zone, get that task done, and don't be pulled to doing other things, because you're right. Every time you go back to it, it takes you 25 minutes to get back into it. Like, there's no such thing as multitasking. You can't really spin multiple plates. Just do one plate at a time and be the great, look how good I am at spinning this one plate. So yeah, that's true, Catherine. And there's so much research on multitasking and all of that stuff. Like,
there is.
Yeah.
And it's especially that this concept is especially true with like people who code and things like that. Like, I remember working with developers and they're all there and their headphones on, and it's like, they don't even say hello. It's like, if they stop their flow, that's it, because they've got not multitasking as such, but there's so many things that they're trying to think about. You stop that, and that's it. You're fucked. So yeah, massive, massive problem. If you do get interrupted. And it was Andy's networking meeting, and I was still late. So wasn't completely true. You have to also account for my tardiness. But the email did go out, and I still made the networking meeting. So there we go.
There you go. And maybe it's okay to be 5 minutes late as well. And it's like, it's okay to be 5 minutes late. It's gonna be right.
5 minutes, 26 minutes. But
I think the other thing I just wanted to touch on. So, and Catherine, look, Catherine's just said multitasking is for machines, not people. Exactly. We're not machines, are we? We are people, and it takes us a while to get into stuff. And the other thing that I wanted to say is, if you really are getting towards that burnout point, I would really take some time to pull back and go, what is absolutely necessary? Because proper burnout, proper getting poorly means that you'll be able to do nothing. Like, you'll get a cold, you'll get the flu, like something will come and floor you, and then you're not going to be able to do anything. So if you're creeping towards that point, make sure that you're sleeping well, make sure that you're eating well, like get rid of some stuff, like just start saying no and just focus on those core things. Because we're not machines as well, like Catherine said, like we're not machines. We need to give ourselves time and space to be able to do the task at hand, and getting to that point where you just can't do anything is really dangerous, because then you're not earning any money.
Exactly. So hopefully this has helped. If you woke up today thinking, I'm feeling overwhelmed, don't know where to start, I think the first thing, take a breath, and then just look at the things that you're saying you're going to do today. And the chances are there's probably too many things. So take some of those things. What's the most important thing? What is actually going to make the boat go faster today? Concentrate on those, eat the frog. So they say, do the most important things first, and then take those other low things and spread them over the week. And the things that really don't matter, there's a few emails in your inbox and it's just like, oh, maybe I should respond to that person, because it's like, no, fuck it, just hit delete. There you go. And you'll sleep a lot better tonight. Just get into that habit. You don't need to respond to everything. It doesn't make you a dick by not responding to every single email. And if there's stuff in there that's over 2 weeks old, then they can just be all archived as well. You don't need to worry about those. I do a course on getting to inbox zero, which covers all these things. So I'll put the link in somewhere, and you can have a look at that as well.
Yeah, I've heard good things about your course, and I'm always in awe of your inbox zero. So if we can, like, just looking at your inbox overflowing will give you overwhelm and a sense of heartburn anyway. So go and check out Bertie's course, because it's fabulous. We will be here back next week. We will be here back.
We will be here back.
We will be her back.
We will be her back. We will be her back next Friday, 10 o'clock. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us live. You can catch up on LinkedIn, YouTube, and on Deborah's Facebook, and also on, what's the other thing we do? The podcast. It's a podcast now, isn't it? The podcast goes live at 1 o'clock today. So we will see you all next week. Have a fantastic week.
Thanks, Connix. See you later. Bye.
Thanks for joining. Bye.